So My Hero Academia is trending worldwide. It's been trending basically since early this morning. It was a lot higher than this place right here. Earlier this morning was like in the top 5 best trending worldwide, and it was for the chapter. Now you see Bakugo trending, and there's been constant things throughout the entire day. And obviously the community is talking about it. There's a lot of people talking about it, so let's discuss it. What's going on? What is the deets? Why is My Hero Academia trending? And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm serious. I'm super serious. If there's anything that, I will say in terms of spoilers, if there's anything you want to avoid, if you do not like spoilers, this is the week. That's all I'm going to say. And that's the only disclaimer I'm going to give. If you carry on at your own risk in terms of spoilers and leaks for the upcoming chapter. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about it. So basically, earlier this morning, this came out. Basically the whole synopsis of the chapter, and I'll go through this in just a second, but one of the big things that people obviously were, looking at or spoiled about and talking about is this stuff with Bakugo, which is why he's trending right now. You see Bakugo get up, which is basically carrying on from the events of the previous chapter, and if you look closely, you see him crying, his face and body's messed up, and then if you look very closely, you'll see chicken. Like, it looks like he's literally calling, potentially, Shigaraki a chicken, which you don't do that, obviously. But then we have this little flashback sequence, and, I've read a lot of manga, okay? And when you have a flashback sequence with, like, a character having this very emotional moment, etc., it's pretty much saying they're about to die. That's exactly what it says. Like, there is so many moments like this within stories of manga, not just shonen, that you see where a character has a full-on, like, a flashback moment throughout the chapter, and then it's setting up for a potential death. That happens. It legitimately happens. And when I look at this, that's probably what's going to happen. But obviously, we have this scene, a little bit more of a, fast forward of time. Basically, Bakugo, he's getting, he got a trading card when he was a kid, and he wants All Might to sign it. This is like a flashback sequence going on within the chapter. But then, here it goes. You get this sequence. Bakugo, apparently from the spoilers / leaks, obviously things are subjective to change, his heart is stopped, he is dead. And the big thing that people see is this, after that, he, everything cuts to white, and he sees the vestige of All Might, like in the vestige realm. And it's very clear what this implies. Like, it's obvious what this implies. I don't think I really need to elaborate on it, but basically, if there's anything you could take away, is that Bakugo, he's dead. At least right now, he's dead. Like, legitimately, he is dead. And I'm not gonna lie, that's just shocked. Like let's put this in perspective. Like, honestly, like let me type this in. My Hero Academia character poll. Character popularity poll. Every time there's a character popularity poll, Bakugo always wins. Like, he legitimately is always, like, in first. Like, he's always the #1 character. In any of these character popularity polls, he always wins. He's #1 character. Basically, he's the fan favorite that's always voted on. He's always the #1 spot in terms of the best character, at least what people think, for the voting, etc. And for the act of Bakugo potentially dying, oh my goodness, the community, this really does happen. Like, legitimately, like, if Horikoshi-sensei carries through with this, and Bakugo is 100% dead, and it's not a fake out by any means, I gotta say, that's some balls on Horikoshi-sensei. Like, that's some huge balls. Like, I will be absolutely floored if this is true and Bakugo stays dead. Because there's always that, possibility it's a fake out, and there's always that possibility that Eri can come in and do some shenanigans, or maybe the whole thing with the, second's quirk, the second vestige's quirk. We don't really know. But it still doesn't change the fact that at the very least, from what we're seeing from the leaks, you can see the card with blood on it that he wanted All Might to sign. He's literally dead. And, I mean, we have this flashback sequence, which I've seen so much from manga, which basically indicates he's freaking dead. And then, you have this Vestige Realm sequence where he gets to see, the vestiges, which, once again, he's dead. So, yes, definitely when you look at this, Bakugo is dead, okay? Now, like I said, anything can happen. Maybe it's temporarily where his heart stopped and he's literally just dead right now, like an in-out-of-body experience, and he could come back or something. Who knows? But this is going to be massive in the community, because I can already see so many people being upset with Bakugo's death for, obviously, like I pointed out, the character popularity polls. The character popularity polls speak for itself. Bakugo has always won. And that's clear indicator that he's a fan favorite. People love his character. So the fact that this is a thing, oh my, oh my. So let's elaborate on this. So let's read the synopsis of the chapter. So chapter 362, Light Fades to Rain. Tamaki thinks about Fat, Kirishima, Tetsu, and Mirio. He concentrates and shoots, calling it Vast Hybrid Plasma Cannon. It's one of the biggest special techniques in the whole series. You could see the beam reaching for miles and miles beyond the barrier, but even that isn't enough to hurt, Tomura all for one. He asks Tamaki if he really thinks Prime All Might would die from such attack. When all seems lost, Bakugo stands up, which we see in the chapter, pages I showed. He's moving insanely fast. Shigaraki can't keep up. His pupils have the cluster explosion effects. We get some narration explaining his quirk and says that cluster has a secondary effect of allowing him to produce explosions from his whole body while he's fighting. Bakugo thinks to himself, "Can I still keep up with you, Izuku?" All for One doesn't understand why he's feeling uneasy, even though he's not fighting against a one-for-all user, but that's when he remembers the second user. He then goes for an all-out attack. Bakugo sees himself in a white space, which, I showed here, white space, and, let's see here, he sees himself in a white space facing All Might's aura / ghost / spirit, but Bakugo immediately understands what's happening and reveals his only regret. "I really, really wanted you to sign my All Might card." The Big Three plus Mirako appears and rushes toward All for One, landing a blow at him, and at the same time, something terrible happened. The news are reporting a sudden increase in the temperature. The civilians are confused. We see a panel of Bakugo's parents. All for One asks why they thought they had any chance. The heroes are all shocked beyond belief. Bakugo's heart has stopped. He lays on the ground. The last page is a double spread, a truly heartbreaking one. There's blood on Bakugo's face, and you can see All Might's card near him. So basically, we also know there's no chapter next week, because the whole magazine's on break fix the holidays. So, yeah, there's a lot to really take in with this, so just let's discuss it. So, if this is in fact true, okay, like, if this really is the case, this isn't fake images, which is always a possibility, and maybe the leaks aren't entirely accurate, and this is indeed the end of Bakugo, this says a few things. For one, this really shows that the editor that Horikoshi-sensei got, like the new one he got now, has really helped the series a lot, and that the old editor was definitely holding My Hero Academia back. And to kind of clarify this, the old editor that Horikoshi-sensei had, he was someone that kind of joined in on Horikoshi's team since the war arc, towards the end of the war arc, and I think any of us that have been reading My Hero basically for a long time noticed the dramatic shift in at least tone or the direction of the story and how things were handled in My Hero Academia. It just did not feel Horikoshi-sensei like. Now, I'm not saying that Horikoshi-sensei is without fault. He has definitely made mistakes. He's definitely done things that aren't necessarily good in My Hero Academia, but overall, he does have a certain flow, a tone that he does right, and it's clear as day that he likes his villains, and it's clear as day that he does do things that are very different from a normal shonen. But when you look at just the way the series has kind of come about, in at least the recent arcs, there was definitely a quality that wasn't to the same level as previous arcs, and I think everybody's seen it. I don't need to dive into that, and the editor has been definitely a part of that. The reason why is because every time that editor was, working on a different series, like, let's just think about Red Hood, the series gets canceled. You can go back and look for yourself. Any time that editor had his name attached to a manga series that was brand new and coming up, it got axed. It definitely says a lot with the editor getting transferred / fired. It implies something was going on there. And I feel like when you look at the situation here, soon as the editor is gone, My Hero Academia changes. Like, I can feel the difference in quality in the latest chapters. I don't think anyone could deny that. Like, in the recent 4 to 5 chapters of My Hero Academia, like 7, it's been crazy. Like, the chapters have legitimately been crazy. They've been really freaking good. And I think that's a big thing about this that we're starting to see once again. Now, obviously, it might not entirely be the editor's fault. I don't want to say it was entirely the editor. But there's definitely a correlation at the very least. Something going on there when every series the editor touched got axed, canceled, or there's something off about it. And My Hero's a good, example of that. And once again, this could still be a fake out because Horikoshi Sensei has definitely done this before. But we'll have to see. I just want to say, if Bakugo is indeed dead and this truly is the end of him and there's no way to make him come back, I will legitimately be floored. But for now, I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to discuss this with all of you. You all be safe and stay healthy. Chibi out.